Day 89. A Quiet Place is a movie with a post-apocalyptic premise and a science fiction drama horror genre. The movie's main plot describes an attack on Earth by mysterious creatures with no eyesight at all, but a strong sense of hearing. 5 members of a family must fight for their lives against these creatures' attacks in the movie. At the beginning of the movie, it shows that the mother of the family, Evelyn, is looking for medicine to treat her eldest son, Marcus, in the pharmacy. The little boy of the family runs here and there in the store and paints a picture of a rocket on the floor and tells his sister Regan that this is how we escape from the Earth. The little boy finds a toy shuttle in the store and wants to pick it up, and when he picks it up, it is released from his hand. As it falls to the ground, her sister Regan catches the shuttle in the air and stops it from making a sound. The father of the family. Lee returns to the family and shows Regan the communication and radio equipment he found and tries to communicate with the other surviving people on the planet. When they finish their work and are about to go home, they notice that the little boy's toy shuttle in his hand is making noise. Lee slowly takes the toy from the boy's hand before it makes a noise, and it's battery, because making any noise for them means death for them. Unfortunately, after her parents leave, Regan gives the toy to her little brother and he takes the batteries again. In order not to make noise, the whole family has to walk barefoot all the time, and they pour sand on the path and walk on it so as not to make noise. On the way back home on the iron bridge, suddenly the little boy puts the batteries on the toy and turns it on, and the sound starts playing, lights it up and makes a noise. Lee suddenly runs towards him to save him, but unfortunately it is too late, and one of those creatures quickly attacks and kills him, which in the rest of the movie is the place of the little boy's grave. Regan comes to his grave from time to time and puts toys on his grave and always considers herself responsible for her brother's death. Day 472. Now the family has chosen a piece of land and they are engaged in farming in it. And Lee has installed a camera and lights in the entire area of this land and controls it from a room. The data that Lee has collected from newspapers over the years about these creatures is, they can hear your voice. This creature is blind. It attacks sound. They have a strong skin like armor. This is what you need to know to survive. Lee is constantly trying to communicate with other people on the planet with radio equipment. But unfortunately, no results are achieved. Evelyn, who is pregnant again, is preparing things and toys for her newborn child. In addition to the necessary equipment, Evelyn made an insulated box, which she has to put inside when the child cries and put an oxygen mask on him. Day 473. Evelyn regularly monitors her and her baby's vital signs and marks the days in the calendar. Lee is trying to make a hearing aid because of his daughter's deafness, not knowing that the same hearing aid will save them from this threat. Regan is disappointed with her father's efforts to make a hearing aid for her, but Lee continues his efforts to make it. Lee has to go out from time to time to get the necessities and food and take his son with him. The son is upset about this and tells his mother not to force me to go with my father, but instead Regan always volunteers to go with her father. She should go out to get food and necessities, but her father is against this and the girl is always upset about this. While catching fish from the river, Marcus is afraid because of the noise. Lee tells him not to worry. The sound of the water prevents our voice from reaching the creatures, and there is no need to be afraid. And he takes it to the waterfall and shouts to Marcus, also says shout loudly. The boy realizes that because of the sound of the water, the creatures cannot hear their voices. Regan takes the toy that caused her little brother's death to her brother's grave and places it next to the grave cross. While returning home, Lee and Marcus meet an old man who is standing over his wife's dead body. Lee gently tells him not to scream, but the old man screams loudly out of distress, and Lee quickly takes Marcus in his arms and leaves the place. In the meantime, one of those creatures arrived and tore the old man to pieces. Finally, the time comes for Evelyn to give birth. While going down the basement stairs, a nail sinks into her foot, and the photo frame falls out of her hand, causing a noise. Because of that, the anxious Evelyn turns on the red lights in the area to signal danger. While going up the stairs, she realizes that one of those creatures has come to their house because of making noise. She immediately turns back and picks up the alarm clock and stands a corner. She is in a bad situation. When Lee and Marcus return, they notices the red lights of the area and realizes that the creature has attacked their house. Her creature has reached the basement through the stairs, and the mother is one step away from death. Suddenly, the alarm bell rings in a corner of the basement and the creature attacks it, and in this way, Evelyn can free herself from the creature. When she leaves the house, she notices that another one of them is also roaming in the yard. To distract the creatures, Lee tells his son to go and turn on the lights, and rockets make loud sound so that the creatures move towards that sound. Evelyn makes it to the top floor with all the effort and lies down in the bathtub, and behind her, one of those creatures also climbs the stairs and reaches the bathroom, and suddenly the rockets are lit, and Evelyn is behind the sound of rockets. Screams loudly because of the pain of giving birth. Regan also realizes that her family's life is in danger when she sees the lights and runs towards the house. Lee comes to the house with a gun, and after climbing the stairs, he comes across the bloody scene in the bathtub and thinks that those creatures have killed Evelyn. He looks behind the glass, and Lee sees that the mother and the child are healthy. When Marcus was returning to the house, one of those creatures suddenly attacked him, and he had to run through the reeds to the house, when he hit the tractor wheel with his head and fell unconscious. The baby starts crying immediately after being born, and the parents are forced to take it underground and put it in a silent box with an oxygen mask. When Regan returns, she notices that a lighted flashlight has fallen on the ground inside the reeds, which attracts her attention, and she is unaware that one of those creatures is behind the girl. Meanwhile, the ear-scratching frequency sound of the hearing aid is suddenly turned on, and Regan does not know. He realizes that the creature suffers from that sound and starts to run away. After regaining consciousness, Evelyn goes to her children and tells Lee to go save them and promise me that you will return to them safe and sound. Lee leaves the basement to find the children, but he does not realize that the water pipe has burst and it flows underground. Fearing those creatures, Marcus and Regan went to the top of one of the silos and lit a fire so that their father could see their presence there through the camera. Creatures roam inside and under the water. Evelyn slowly and tremblingly goes to the child and takes it out of the box, while the creature comes out from under the water and notices their presence. The mother embraces the child and hides behind the flowing water. Marcus and Regan, who were waiting for their father on top of the silo, were arguing together, while the top door of the silo opened and the boy fell into it. and behind it, one of the iron doors was torn off, and he fell next to Marcus. Because of the noise, the creatures attacked the silo, while Regan jumps into the silo to save her brother and sinks into a pile of corn. But her brother manages to hold her hand and save her, but she is unaware. Because those creatures come to the silo. After both of them are saved, one of those creatures comes into the silo and attacks them. And they put an iron door on them as a protection, and the sound of the girl's hearing aid is raised again, causing annoyance, and finally the creature escapes from that place. Fortunately, Marcus and Regan survive and deliver themselves to their father, but they realize that one of those creatures is present there. The creature hits the father from the roof, while Marcus, who sees the scene, shouts loudly for his father. This scream causes the creature to attack the children and burn the car. Lee regains consciousness, and he takes his axe, and in order to free the children from the creature, he throws the axe on the ground by making that sound to attract the creature's attention. He does not consider her the cause of her brother's death. Lee screams loudly, and the creature suddenly attacks the father and kills him. Marcus moves the car silently towards the house. Evelyn immediately returns the children to the basement of the house, and Regan enters it for the first time. She falls to the ground and reads all her father's writings and information about these creatures, and sees that not only did her father love her, but he always thought of making a hearing aid for his daughter. Evelyn takes the gun on her with a look of fear. Suddenly, the girl notices her father's writings and thinks that what is their weak point. She turns on her hearing aid, the sound of its frequency becomes louder, and suddenly they see that the creature Regan takes out the hearing aid from her ear and puts it on the microphone, and that sound causes the layers of the creature's head to open, which can be easily killed with a gun. They observe that some of those creatures are coming towards their building. Evelyn points to her daughter with a meaningful smile, be it a woman or a girl. She also turns up the volume of the microphone to the end and waits for their presence. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You can watch more video like this. Thanks for watching.